more players, help out that incredibly weak farm system, that would be a good move for the Marlins. And getting Cade Horton, Owen Casey, Kevin Alcantara, and Ronnie Cruz back does feel like a pretty good haul for Sandy. And Sandy, while he has had a bit of a rough season, one, he's been pitching better of late. His fastball, his sinker, they're up in the upper 90s.
Because, like, we talked about this before. We had a long talk on the podcast about, like, who these people actually are, you know? Like, not talking like, okay, so in really, really high keys, or if you care about your time and you're in like a decently high key, not like a run for loot like a 10 or a 12 or whatever, like you're doing what would be like a 17 or an 18 now. If that run kind of depends on you doing the first pull and you fail, you can either be mathematically already eliminated, or most of the people are just going to be like, it doesn't make sense for me to do another 25 minutes of my time when this is already cooked. But actually, that line of thinking existed before resilient keys, because now, like, there's a chance you're doing that key and you could actually fail on that pull, and then you could just zone in and go again, you know? You have to complete keys for the title to go away. It's not timed. When I'm thinking about when the community got the most mad about people leaving dungeons, wasn't it actually at the beginning of this expansion in Mythic Zero Arakara? Or was it Heroic Arakara? It wasn't even Mythic. Just people looking for that egg thing, right? And this wouldn't even affect that at all. This is only in Mythic Plus. I guess is Mythic Zero technically Mythic Plus? It's not, right? Because you don't actually put a keystone in. So if people are doing that in Arakara again, Mythic Zero Arakara in the first week, this wouldn't actually apply to that. It's purely in Mythic Plus. I haven't spent a lot of time. You know what? I'm going to table this because I bet Dorky and Dratnos, I'm recording a podcast with them right after my stream today. I'm sure they have some thoughts on this and have thought about it a lot more than me. But this is just one of those things where, like, basically anyone that's like actually joining a dungeon with the intention of griefing it, and like they join it with no intention of completing it, but they're going to grief on purpose and leave just so the people are fucked or whatever, which I think true psychos, probably not a lot of people like that. I'm not talking people that leave for valid reasons, like actually just like running it down mid on purpose to fuck with random people they don't know, like true psycho shit. I'm interested to see how this will work now. Like, is this actually going to change anything? Okay, so if you run into someone who is going to leave your dungeon, right? The person you're trying to target with this, not someone who's leaving for a good reason, like the leaver, right? If they start a vote and the vote doesn't go through, are they gonna keep playing, or are they just gonna go AFK, effectively bricking your key anyway? Does it really change anything? And then also, yeah, at the resilient level, this doesn't really change anything, but I just don't even know if the scarlet letter you get from leaving is even enough of a punishment. You know what? Who knows? How about we just leave it at this? This seems like it's a good first step. It probably doesn't immediately solve the problem, but I think it's a nuanced enough issue where, like, I don't know if there is an obvious effective solution they can immediately implement, but this is a step in the right direction. They're approaching something that everyone kind of universally agrees with, is like people who like leave dungeons a lot are not fun to play with, right? So like trying to reduce or not incentivize that behavior is good. It's a good thing. Good first step, I would say. We'll see how it turns out, and we can work on it after that. I could have said that like 5 minutes ago. I don't even know why I spent time talking about this. W. We've looked at all the class changes. We now are moving on to tier sets, and then we're gonna look at gear, and then if there's apparently there's like some other Mythic Plus stuff that might have gotten covered though, and then we can spend some other time doing some other shit. I'm gonna drink some water. Did you guys? Oh, Max, you missed a Shadow Meld potion. Oh, word? Where is that? Oh, here. A new recipe, invigorating healing potion. This potion will okay, so there's a new healing pot, and then Umbra Essentia. Slink into darkness, reducing the chance for enemies to detect your presence. Effect lasts for 20 seconds to 1 minute, depending on potion quality, or ends upon moving. And it incurs a 5-minute combat potion cooldown. Here we go. We're adding a new potion in Ghost of Koresh that replicates abilities such as Night Elf's Racial Shadow Meld to address its prevalence in high-end Mythic Plus play. It's crazy to read a dev note mentioning high-end Mythic Plus because, like, for literally 8 years from when Mythic Plus first came out to 8 years from then, High Mythic Plus has been a growing community that people engaged in, and it's just crazy knowing how popular it was with them never designing with those people in mind ever. Literally ever until the beginning of this expansion. Or specifically in the beta cycle for this expansion when they said they weren't going to change Mythic Plus, and then everyone got really mad, and then they did, and then they actually started designing the game for High Mythic Plus. Like basically everything that happened in High Mythic Plus was a complete accident from them tuning for what used to be 20s and are now 10s, where the rewards stopped, and then it just infinitely scaled, and they were like, have fun. Literally did not give a fuck, right? So let's see how this works. So as a large number of top performing groups rely on ShadowMeld for certain strategies, we're looking to offer access to that utility without being locked to a specific race with a goal of reducing the pressure of group composition. I mean, overall, it's a W, right? Like, I think there's other ways of solving this problem, but it's better than before. Like, feeling like you had to be ShadowMeld or Night Elf, you might... Now, some people would argue you still have to because you can just ShadowMeld twice now. Like, Night Elves get 2 uses of it, but in a lot of dungeons, there isn't... Like, the pot will do for certain... Now, other dungeons, that's not true, and is it still technically better? Yes, but, like, does this make it feel like you're less likely to need that? Oh, great, I'm lagging. I think we may be stabilizing, boys. All right, the lagging is over. Lagging is over. Officially. Nope, and it's back. Max, will this pot even matter? It's a 5-minute CD. You lose another combat pot. I mean, if you don't have Night Elves in your group, and people that can't be Night Elf, more importantly, and now you can do a skip that you otherwise couldn't do because of that, or an extra skip because of the cooldown. This
your step?
Would absolutely save you more time than you would gain by using a DPS potion, for example. So, I mean, this is extremely relevant. Okay, so you're right that I don't think that this completely solves this, but I do think that this existing is good. Yes, does it technically make like Night Elf still a little better than some other race if you could have Shadow Meld exist? Yes. But there are some classes that could never be Shadow Meld, or that could never be Night Elf, that can Shadow Meld now, which is great. So I am happy that, for me personally, a better change, in my opinion, is making, and this is probably because they couldn't make this work, is to make Shadow Meld simply not have any effect in dungeons. Right? Like, think about raids. Can you imagine how hard it would be to design raid fights if Shadow Meld could work on, which, by the way, it doesn't. Shadow Meld doesn't work on anything in raids. Why? Because it would be fucking hell on earth if it did. It would just make bosses not do things. Right? So that's how they deal with that. If your issue is, like, Shadow Meld is super prevalent in Mythic Plus, I honestly think, like, people, if they don't want to be Night Elf, would rather be something else. Right? It's obviously the most OP racial. Like, Dwarf is close, but, like, Shadow Meld is just by far the most OP racial. I just feel like removing it is better than introducing it to more people. It also must be harder to, like, design things that are supposed to challenge you if your thing is making you Shadow Meld them more. But this is definitely better than it is right now. I just think there's better changes. My thought is Blizzard just either can't figure out a way to do that, or they really care that Shadow Meld does work in, like, lower level dungeons, like normals. So like a LARPing Night Elf is like, I can just disappear, and they do it. And, right? And they can't make it not work in Mythic Plus, but it does work in, like, normal, you know, some shit like that. But yeah, cool. Tier sets. Let's get these tier sets out of the way. All right, let's get it. Pog or dog? Okay. So they're actually, it's so interesting. They're actually naming the tier sets after the hero talents instead of for the actual spec. But then they are different for the specs. We are going to read some of these multiple times. Casting Reaper's Mark grants 2 stacks of Exterminate with 150% the first Scythe effectiveness and 125% second Scythe effectiveness. 4 set is Reaper's Mark can stack up to 15 additional times and increase your crit chance by 10% after it explodes for 8 seconds. Okay. The issue with tank is, like, maybe they're making all the tank ones weak. This is the first one I'm reading. But tank sets kind of just have to be absurdly overpowered. Because some tank is going to be absurdly overpowered, and tanks by default kind of multi-class. And because tank potential tier power being much higher than the other 2 roles, at least historically, can happen, when you see something not defensively crazy strong, doesn't seem good. Like, yeah, crit gives parry, but, like, not really. I don't know. Or maybe their thought is, let's make all tank tier dog shit, and that way it's easier to balance them because tier is so volatile. But then that's not fun because then you're, like, looking forward. You're supposed to look forward to this thing you get in the patch. I don't know, it's weird. Sand Lane. Mastery by 0.8% per stack. Cool. Blood Beast lets that last for an additional 4 seconds. And Vampiric Strike increases the melee attack for every dancing rune weapon by 5% for 6 seconds. Multiple applications may overlap. That doesn't seem that great either, but who knows. Frost. Casting Reapers. It's also going to be hard to understand this because I don't understand how New Frost is supposed to work. Casting Reaper's Might grants 1 stack of Exterminate, same thing as Blood, and Reaper's Might can stack up to, so same thing, exact same thing for Blood and Frost. And I know they mentioned in the thing that they would change it, but I guess you don't have to change it for all of them. But this does actually show some of my concerns, where if you don't give an individual touch to each spec, especially in between roles, like 2 roles, a tank and a DPS that share a hero talent, unless you really focus on those and differentiate them, it's gonna really suck for one of them. And I, like, when I read this, it sounds like they made this for Frost and then just slammed it on Blood. But, like, tank tier bonuses have to be so much better than this. I don't know. There's just a thought. And then Rider of the Apocalypse. Pillar of Frost now summons one of the Riders for 10 seconds. His shit does more damage. 2 set. Okay. Casting a Blit or Frost Scythe orders Trollbane to cast his Oblit or Frost Scythe along with 100% effectiveness. Your Oblit deals 20% increased damage to target affected by this. That seems kind of cool. Totally depends on tuning. Okay, Unholy Rider. Now, Apocalypse now summons this guy. And I'm assuming the 2 and 4 set is just going to be casting things makes this guy do their thing. Yep, same thing. Totally depends on power level. Set bonus, Infliction of Sorrow, extends your duration of disease by an additional 3 seconds. Additionally, by your mastery, same thing as Blood. And Blood Beast, same thing. Melee attack power of your ghoul by 5% for 6 seconds. Multiple applications may overlap. Okay, cool. Havoc. Oh, there's another element to this, too, that I find kind of interesting. Like, you've always been locked into your tier set as any specific spec. Let's say you're, like, just a Havoc DH player. There's a ton of those, actually. They love anime, from what I can tell. If you are this person, you're kind of hoping that your class at least hits, like, 1 good tier set, right? But now, like, because they're by hero talent, I don't know if this is actually the right way to think about this, but you kind of just have, like, double the chance of getting at least one of your... like, if you're someone that doesn't specifically want to play 1 hero talent, you just want to play your class, and you want your class to own, don't you have, like, a higher chance of your class being good because you have, you know, double the chance of not getting fucked on your tier? Because only one of them has to hit, in a way. Reaver's glaive damage increased by 60% and other physical only damage increased by 30. Okay. Fury of the Eldrachi further empowers Blade Dance when cast after Chaos Strike, increasing slashes to 12. Oh boy. Oh boy. Reaver's Mark now stacks up to 3 times and further empowers Chaos Strike when cast after Blade Dance, applying an additional stack for 100% of normal duration. Bro, that's... what is that even gonna look like? Are you just gonna... Actually, you guys might be happy about this. Does this not... Can you imagine, like, 3 Havoc DH being on top of the boss and each of them being in Blade Dance animation for, like, 3 seconds? That's gonna be impossible to see. That's gonna be visual crazy shit. Unless they thought about that already. Felsguard. Immel Aura deals 30% increased damage and increased Chaos Strike damage by 30% while active. Oh, that's kind of interesting, like a little burn window. Entering Demon Form now immediately induces a Demon Surge and shatters a Demon Soul Fragment that grants 20% increased damage for 10 seconds. That's kind of more boring, but I kind of like that. I actually really like the idea of Immel Aura being being like a window. That's kind of... it's at least interesting. Vengeance looks like... See, this is like... Okay, this is 2 tanks in a row where... I don't know about this. Maybe all of them aren't, like, defensively really strong, but, like, if you were to look at what are strong tank defensives, or strong tank tier set defensively, historically, these are just, like, your class isn't going to be good for this season. If any of the other tanks hit, these just seem like not awesome. Could be wrong, though. I'm not super up to date currently on, Eldrachi, but it seems like it's just increasing their dam. Like, if you get a tier set as a tank that's just increasing your damage and another one actually hits a regularly strong tank tier set, your class is cooked. Unless you're super overtuned. Okay, Druid. Starfire damage increased by 25%, gaining Astral Power with Starfire. Has a 50% chance to launch a Star Surge at your target at 50% effectiveness. That's kind of cool. I don't know if that's good, but that's cool. On impact, Star Surges launched by Starfire split up to 3 additional targets at 80% effectiveness and grant a stack of Gathering Moonlight. Casting Fury of the Loon or Full Moon consumes this to increase your damage by 5% per stack for 12 seconds. Yo, this is sick, right? Bro, this is fucking insane. I don't know if it's good because, like, numbers and stuff, but this is absolutely this is a fucking cook. Holy fuck, this is a cook. That's so smart. It does not consume Touch the Stars or Star Weaver procs. Okay. God damn. Keeper of the Grove. Casting Celestial Alignment calls upon the assistance of a Dryad for 10 seconds that casts Star Surge at 10% 70% effectiveness and Starfall at 100% effectiveness. Okay, so big CD2 set. When your Dryad fades, your next 2 Star Surges damage for an additional amount equal to 5% of your damage done while it was active. Okay, so it's like a little burn window. Okay, and splash 100% of their damage onto nearby enemies. Yo! Okay. I don't know if either of them are numbers-wise cool, but they both seem designed very, very cool. Dude, giving Moonkins a little... Dude, damage window is sick. Oh, man, Moonkins are going to be fucking dead again. You remember the last time they had to, like, fully focus their damage window? Did you guys raid with any Venthyr Moonkins back in Sanctum of Domination, bro? They were actually always dead. God damn it. At least it's not for 30 seconds. Okay. Guardian Druid. Ravage increases your haste by 10%. Chance to critically strike by 10, and the damage of your bleeds by 30% for 5 seconds. That's a lot of stats. Okay. Ravage has a 40% chance to make you ravage your target again 4 seconds later at 60% effectiveness. But I'm assuming that is, like, that will also proc this. Kind of RNG, though. 2 set for Loon's Chosen. Thrash damage increased by 20%. Thrash has a 40% chance to launch a Star Surge at your target at 65% effectiveness. Does Star Surge hit hard as a Guardian? I mean, I guess they could just tune it. Casting, okay, upon impact, Star Surge is launched by Thrash, split up into 3 additional targets, same thing, and gain a stack of Gathering Moonlight. Casting Lunar Beam does this and increases your damage per stack by 12 seconds. Okay. Cool. Feral. Same thing for these two, except they have Bloodseeker Vines. The rate at which Bloodseeker Vines grows by 40%. Tiger's Fury causes this. Has a chance each stack on this. Alright, cool. I don't know. I don't care about Feral, honestly. Resto. Casting their big heal, or their big cooldown, calls upon the assistance of a Dryad for 5 seconds that casts Tranquility at 50% effectiveness and instantly regrows your lowest health ally at 200% effectiveness. Okay, on both of these CDs. When your Dryad fades, your next 2 Swiftmens heal for an additional amount equal to 5% of your healing done while it was active and splash 25% of their healing on a nearby allies reduced beyond 5 targets. That sounds... I don't even understand healing, really, but that sounds really cool, like having a little window. But Resto Druids are already like a ramp burst healer anyway, so you're just making that have like an extra little burst heal at the end, in a way. Also, Trank isn't like an awesome ability to begin with, but even half of a Trank isn't nothing, you know. Wild Stalker. The rate at which Symbiotic Blooms grows by 40%. Casting Regrowth or Clear Casting causes it to grow onto 2 nearby allies. And then these blooms have a 20% chance to trigger Bursting Growth every 2 seconds. Each stack of Symbiotic Blooms on an ally increases Bursting Growth healing taken by 30%. W. Evoker Augmentation. Chrono Warden. Set. After Temporal Burst fades, gain Temporal Cycle for 45 seconds. This increases haste, movement speed, and cooldown and recovery by 2%. Stacking additional time using Essence ability stacks up to 15 times.
Whirlwind.
What? On cooldown recovery rate by 30% for all of your abilities and 30% haste? Am I reading that wrong? That sounds absolutely crazy, right? Okay.
Watch your step.
Dude, it's only a 2 set too. What the fuck? When Temporal Burst or Temporal Cycle is active, okay, Chrono Flame strikes 1 additional target and repeats 10% additional damage or healing up to a maximum based on spell power.
Whirlwind.
Okay, four piece looks, that doesn't even seem real. That, like, if I'm reading this correctly, that sounds like the most broken 2-piece to ever exist. Anyways, Scale Commander. While deep breathing and for 10 seconds after, you command a squadron of 2 Dracthyr who will attack your target with Pyro Azure Strike.
Watch your step.
4-step bonus. While your squadron is active, your Mass Eruption strikes up to 2 additional targets. In addition, your squadron assists you for 5 additional seconds. Cool. Dev. Engulf soaks your inner flame, increasing your damage and healing over time by 40%. And increasing your chance to gain Essence Burst by 50% for 10 seconds stacks up to 2 times. Wait, your damage by 40% for 10 seconds stacks up to 2 times? Yo, that sounds insane. Consuming Essence Burst during Inner Flame fires an Essence Bomb at your target, damaging nearby enemies or healing nearby allies, reduced beyond 5 targets. Okay, Scale Commander. While deep breathing and for 10 seconds after, you command a squadron 2 Dracthyr. Yeah, but what does the force it do? While your squadron is active, Mass Disintegrate strikes up to 2 additional targets. In addition, your squadron assists you... Okay, So Mass Disintegrate hits 5 things. Now, in Raid, this is unlikely to be super, super good. Like, usually, Devoker just cleaving 3 things is, like, money, right? You're so happy with that. Like, it'll be slightly better. In Mythic Plus, this seems like it's 7 beams. I mean, yeah, Mythic Plus, this is, like, crazy. Okay. Preservation. I still don't believe this 2-set. It just seems completely broken. Same thing with the 4-set. Flame Shaper. Engulf Soulseer Inner Flame, increasing your healing over time. Oh, only the hot version of it. Oh, same thing with the 2-set for Dev. It's only your dots by 80%. Still, 80% is a big number. So hots by 80% for Flame Shaper. It increases your chance to get Essence Burst by 50%, and then fires an Essence Bomb, healing allies, reduce beyond 5. Okay. Unused beams add to your single target too. Hunter. Black arrow damage increased by 10% and bleak powder damage increased by 20. Firing a black arrow reduces the cooldown of Call to Wild by 2 seconds. I don't know exactly how that works. Is that Pog? Withering fires black arrow damage increased by 25%. Consuming a death blow has a 30% chance to call all black arrow barrages during your next withering fire to fire 1 additional black arrow. Okay. Pack leader pet damage increased by 5%. Okay. Decent. And beast damage increased by 15%. Summoning a beast grants 8% haste, mastery, or critical strike chance based on the beast summon for 8 seconds. All of that, that sounds sick and really strong for a 2-set. 4-set. Summoning a beast has a 25% chance to rouse nearby wildlife into a stampede. Charging your target and dealing heavy physical damage to your enemies over 3 seconds. Your chance to summon this is increased to 100% when you have lead from the front. I don't know how strong that is, but thematically they totally fucking hit here. Insane theme. And the 2-piece sounds crazy. I don't know how strong Stampede is, but whatever. MM, same thing, except it's death. Okay, yeah, same thing for MM. And then they have Sentinel. When Lunar Storm fades, I don't even know what that ability does. I'm skipping that. And Survival, we've already read both those except for the skip Sentinel. Interesting. Mage, Arcane Blast damage increased by 20%. Direct Splinter damage has a 50% chance to grant a stack of Arcane Harmony. Okay, damage from Arcane Orb has a 100% chance to grant a stack of this up to 5 times. Very cool. Sun Fury. Spellfire Sphere, spell damage bonus by 1%. Phoenix, a 25% chance to cast an exceptional spell without consuming a Spellfire Sphere. Oh, that's kind of cool. I don't know if it's good, but it's cool. 4-set, when your Phoenix expires, it empowers you even further beyond, granting lesser time warp and increased 10% spell damage for 10 seconds. What is lesser time warp? Is that like a known thing? What does that mean? It's 15% haste for 10 seconds? Still pretty good. Fire Frostfire bonus. Comet Storm, Ice Nova, and Frostfire Burst deal 10% increased damage and now apply Ignite at 150% effectiveness. Help me with numbers. Does that mean that they're going to apply Ignite 50% stronger, or is it 150% stronger? Because 100% effectiveness would just be reggy. It's 50% better, right? Yeah. Casting Pyroblast has a 20% chance to also cast Glacial Spike at 100% effectiveness. Wait, that doesn't root. Additionally, Glacial Spike now benefits from Ignite. That's insane, right? That's like crazy insane. That's also fucking cool. That's like frostfirefantasy.com. That's insane. That's so cool. Okay. Frostfire bonus for Frostmage. Meteor, Frostfire Burst, and same thing. Wait, not really. Because it's introducing Ignite, right? So it has to be... Now deal 10% increased damage, and now apply Ignite, dealing 30% of the damage they deal over 9 seconds. Okay, so if just Frostmage is just kind of getting Ignite. That is... Dude, the flavor here is mages stay eating, by the way. Casting Glacial Spike has a 100% chance to also fire a Pyroblast at 100% effectiveness. Additionally, Pyroblast now benefits from Ignite. I feel like I'm only like halfway through the classes right now, and I feel like I've read more completely busted tier sets than I have ever read. There's also been some stinkers too. It seems like just purely, this could be kind of reactionary, but in their first look at like hero talent tier sets, is there seems to be more completely broken ones than normal. Like they're hitting on a higher rate, which is a good thing because they have time to fix the bad ones, but some of them definitely super stink. Monk. Oh, I can't wait to see Windwalker. Okay. Brewmaster. Gaining Vitality has an increased chance to cause... What does gaining Vitality mean? Dealing nature damage split between your target and nearby enemies. Cool. Casting Selly Brew guarantees your next 2 casts of Tiger Palm will trigger a Harmonic Surge. I don't know what that means. Shadowpan. Flurry Strikes deal 30% more damage and activating weapons of order instantly grants 10 stacks of flurry strikes that will trigger on your next auto attack. And 100% effectiveness and flurry charge generation. Okay, cool. Can I just, is the Mistweaver one cool? I just want to get to Windwalker because I love it. Yeah, okay, I'm just skipping this. W Mistweavers though. Windwalker, Conduit of the Celestials, Heart of the Jade Serpent, additionally triggers for 8 seconds at 100% effectiveness when you cast Slice. Whoa! That's the thing that makes like your main shit have like their cooldown. It's like cooldown reduction, like hella cooldown reduction for. It also makes Fists cast faster, right? That's the part of Conduit that I'm remembering. Oh boy, that's gonna make your cooldown window fucking, because you want to cast Slice in your cooldown window just for big damn anyway, so you don't even have to think about it. And it's gonna be really nice outside of CDs too. That feels fucking great. All right, Heart of the Jade Serpent, which is the thing that it's granting you here really often, by the way. Even if you just completely ignore when you actually get Heart of the Jade Serpent, just from this alone, you're getting it at almost 30% uptime, just straight up, just from this alone. And obviously you get it other ways as well. That's crazy. Okay, so Heart of the Jade Serpent increases your haste by 15% while active and for 4 seconds afterwards. Oh my god. This is crazy. This might be the most broken one I've seen so far. Haste is like your best stat too. What the fuck? Dude. Fuck, I was gonna play Bone this patch. Maybe not. Okay, Shadow Pan. Boring ass shit. Flurry Strikes deals 30% more damage, and activating Storm Earth and Fire instantly grants 10 stacks of Flurry Strikes that trigger on your next attack of 100% effectiveness. Wait, does that mean you get Wisdom of the Wall or whatever the fuck it's called when you pop your CDs? Because that would be very strong. Flurry Charge Generation is increased to 100% and it triggers every 120 energy spent. Oh, you're gonna have like permanent uptime of this during your cooldowns. Please, please, please do not make me play Shadow Pan. Like, I'm all for like variety and shit, but Conduit is just so much fucking better designed through and through that I hope that some fucking robot doesn't tell me that I do more damage by playing this boring ass shit. Cool tier set though, but I wish it was terrible. W. Okay, Paladin. Can someone just tell me if any of these that are ones I don't super care about are like really good, or else I'll just like kind of scroll by them. I don't know. Both Holy Pally ones are kind of good. Yeah, but I don't know what these buttons mean though. Well, I want to look at the tank one. Hammer and Anvil's damage is increased by 15. I don't even know how Lightsmith works. Holy fuck. Templar. Your Empyrean Hammer deals 20% increased crit damage, and your critical strikes at 15% chance additional Light's Deliverance. And 4-set Hammer Light deals 30% increased damage to 5 range targets, starts 3 additional targets, and you can now be cast one more time after I have tier. Again, purely like most. I mean, at least I don't know exactly what Light's Deliverance means, but like I think this is like purely damage for a tank. Bro, if any of the tanks actually hit defensively, I feel like they're just gonna own red. Dawnlight's healing and damage increased by 30%. You gain Solar Wrath after Avenging Wrath fades, causing Sun's Avatar effect to linger for additional 10 seconds. That's good. It's a 5% DR. It's defensive too. Okay. Solar Wrath increased the effectiveness of your Holy Power spenders by 15% and grants you 2 Dawnlight. Okay. Templar. Your Empyrean Hammer deals 20% increased critical strike damage, and the critical strikes have 50% chance to grant additional stacks of Light's Deliverance. Hammer of Light deals 35% increased damage to its primary target. Yeah, being able to use it twice is insane. That seems fun. And it's going to feel way less bad, too, because you're no longer going to be playing, like, the hammer talent, right? Where you, like, are stressed for pressing shit all the time. And at least in PTR, it felt really bad to actually to use this. Felt slow. It's going to do big damn. It won't upset your rotation too much. Oracle. 2-set.
Charging.
The first bolt of each penance damages or heals for 200% more. Bro, that's real good, right? Casting Premonition of Piety or Premonition of Solace grants 2 stacks of Premonition of Insight at 100% effectiveness. Alright, I guess we're gonna have to pull out a fucking... Alright, okay, cool. You made me pull out a fucking talent thing. Whatever. What does that mean? Okay. Casting Premonition of Piety or Solace, that is the healing done one, and your overhealing gets redistributed. And Solace, which is your next single target heal, gives a shield and reduces damage taken. If you cast either of those, it's going to grant 2 stacks of Premonition of Insight, which is reduces the cooldown of your next 3 spell casts by 7 seconds. So the next 6 spell casts get CDR by 7.
Consuming a stack of insight increases your haste by 1% for 10 seconds. Multiple applications may overlap. So you're going to have Iron Fur stacking haste. Next 2 spellcasts, not 6. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how Disc works, but you guys are saying this is good. Cool. Void Blast and Penance damage increased by 40%. And Void Blast cast time is reduced by 20%. Void Blast cooldown is reduced by 50. Void Blast can now cause an Entropic Rift to grow. Collapsing Void increases Entropic Rift's damage by an additional 10%. The damage your next Mind Blast increased by 200% based on the size of the Entropic Rift when it collapses. Holy Archon. Oh, so you're saying specifically the Oracle 4 set means you're just going to get way more penances out, and also they're buffing the fuck out of penance. I just feel like you can feel that first penance when like your whole raid has atonement, and having the first part of their ramp, which I'm assuming how Priest works is like you're penancing with a bunch of atonements out, and like that penance is doing a ton of the healing, I think, right? Penance really strong. So like that first hit of penance is just going to fucking pipe, dude. That's going to be great. Holy Archon. Halos reduce the cooldown of your Holy Word Serenity and Sanctify by 5 seconds. And Resonant Energy additionally increases the healing of your Holy Words by 5%. And while Power Surge is active, every 2 casts of Holy Word Serenity or Sanctify adds another Halo to the effect of 100% effectiveness up to 2 times. I don't know how Holy works. Prayer of Mending
Watch your step.
also heals your target. Oh, this is the spec that has multiple Halos, right? Your Halo comes back and forth, so maybe this works twice. Casting Prayer of Mending also heals your target. What, so they're just putting an upfront heal on the person you cast Prayer of Mending on? Okay. Hopefully large. Casting Premonition of Piety or Solace grants 2 stacks of this. Same thing as Disc. Okay. But I'm assuming maybe also strong for Holy.
Watch your
Almost
step.
done here. Rogue. Shiv increases the effectiveness of all Deathstalker damage effects and damage bonuses by 50% while active.
Watch your step.
Ooh. I don't know about overall damage increase, but... Oh, no. Okay, I thought this meant Death Mark. But still, like, I think Deathstalker has a lot of damage effects, right? Like, shouldn't this be, like, a pretty big window? Anyways, Shiv has a 2% increased duration. I skip Shadow. Oh, Stay Mad, by the way. I mean, it's basically the same thing as what we've already read, right? Except for Archon, I guess. Is it good? Stay Mad. I wish I did that on purpose. And an application of your active Deathstalker's mark when activated. Okay, Fatebound. Kingsbane deals 10% increased damage as 4-second increased duration. Edge Case now flips an additional Fatebound coin. Dude, it's... When you haven't looked at these trees in a while, just these words are just crazy. They're thrown out there. Having a lucky Fatebound coin reduces the cooldown of Death Mark by 30 seconds and Kingsbane by 15. Ooh. That sounds like a lot of potential CDR. Okay, Outlaw. Ghostly Strike deals 50% increased damage, 4% increased duration. Edge Case now flips an additional Fatebound coin. Activating this triggers its effect. Okay, same thing, CDR. Trickster. Unseen Blade deals 30% increased damage with a 30% chance to immediately refresh cooldown. Coup de Grace may now be activated a second time within 5 seconds. Fuck! I had a good bit going for a couple years where every single time this word came up, I announced it, or pronounced it, the obvious shitty way of like Coup de Grace or Coup de Grace. And I hit that in Blackrook Hold, and every time I read this, and I completely forgot and ruined the whole fucking bit just now. All good though. So double Coup de Grace. Symbols of Death increase the effectiveness of all Deathstalker. Same thing. Giga cooldown window. For sub, that probably works even better. Then same thing for this. Cool. Elemental. Ancestral Swiftness summons an empowered... What the fuck is Ancestral Swiftness again? Is that something specifically with... Dude, I know that word. Isn't that like the insta-cast... The insta-spellcast for Ellie and Resto? Or I think it's on the class tree, but like Enhanced doesn't care about it. It's NS. Yeah, okay. NS summons Grandpa for 15 seconds. That deals 3% increased damage and healing. Only depends if that one's strong. And Ancestral Swiftness reduces the cast time of your spells by 8%, mana cost of your spells by 8, and increases the recharge rate of Lava Burst by 16% for 8 seconds. This seems weak. It's like a 30-second CD. I don't know, it just doesn't read crazy. Alright, Stormbringer. Ascendance has a 100% chance to grant a charge of Tempest, and every 6 Awakening Storms now activates Ascendance for 6 seconds. Ooh. Nature damage increased by 5%, and Ascendance empowers your next 2 Tempests, causing it to gather a storm above, dealing nature damage to its primary target and reduce damage to nearby enemies after 1.5 seconds. That seems big. Totemic. After you consume all the Whirling Element modes... Wow, I've never read that in my life. You cast Primordial Storm at 200% effectiveness at its surging totem's location. After casting Primordial Storm, your next Lava Lash or Fire Nova is casting at 100% effectiveness. Seems fine. And then do they just repeat this for Enhance? Dude, this seems just crazy good. Ascendance is really strong. Does this? I mean, the 4 set totally depends on how much damage it does, but seems really good. Resto, same thing, kind of same. Well, a bit different for healer, but healer stuff. I don't know what Warlock words mean, so I would just be basically reading a bunch of things for no reason and not actually processing any of that information. Do any of these own? And then I'll just read those. Dude, like reading Warlock dev notes is like reading a different language. They're powerful but very boring. All right, W. That is actually just thank you. That's all I need to read. Wait, Diablo sounds cool as fuck. Okay, let's check. Let's check. Hand of Gul'dan cast at full power summons a demonic oculus. Bro, okay, up to 3. Consuming demonic art flings your demonic oculus at your current target, exploding for fire damage, and fire damage enemies in 10 yards. And then demonic oculi analyze the battle while active and deliver information used as they explode, increasing your int by 2% for 10 seconds, assuming stacking. Cool. So demonic octopus going crazy on it. Cool. I can't believe you made me read that. Arms. Demolish damage increased by 20% and crit strike damage. Your abilities increased by up to 20% on targets affected by your demolish for 10 seconds based on the number of colossal might consumed. Demolish damage increased by 20% and critical strike abilities increased on targets affected by your demolish for 10 seconds based on the number. This is insane, right? I don't know if you actually play this, but this seems insane. Big window. Demolish 4-piece increases your crit strike chance for your next 2 mortal strikes by 100%. Mortal strike, critical strikes increase your rend and deep wounds damage by 100% for 8 seconds. I mean, that's like good AoE too. That seems great. That seems really good. Execute damage increased by 20% and executes from sudden death have a 10% chance per stack of overwhelmed on the target to trigger a Slayer strike. I don't know what that means.
Watch your step.
Overpowering damage increased by 20%, or overpower damage, and overpowers 2% chance per stack of overwhelmed on the target to trigger Reap the Storm. Again, it's like I'm reading Warlock tooltip right now. Literally no idea what that means. The Colossus one seems really cool though. Fury Mountain Thane.
Whirlwind.
Thunder Blast with 30% chance to call down 5 strikes on affected targets. They deal nature damage. And then Ionizing Strikes deal 50% more damage and have a 20% chance to grant a charge of Thunder. Okay, so like purely like number, but also you get like extra charges of Thunder Blast basically, but I just don't know how much damage that does. And Slayer, same thing, except sudden death instead of overpower, or Raging Blow I mean. Cool. Prot, Demolish, same thing. Demolish increases the critical strike chance for next 2 shield slams. Again, just this is 0 defensiveness, right? I mean, I guess they were like kind of correct. Like, it doesn't seem like, correct me if I'm wrong, it doesn't seem like any tank got a really strong defensive tier set. Is that correct? I kind of like glazed over all of them. Glaze? Is that the right way to say it?
Watch your step.
Gazed? What word am I thinking of? Glaze is fine. Fuck it. Glaze it. Prot Warrior helps with the healing because of the rend damage. Glanced? Yeah, glanced. I meant glanced. I wish I did that on purpose, all of that just now, but I didn't. Glossed? Ooh, glossed could have been a lot of good G words there. In the same boring ass Thunder. Okay, so who wins? Okay, I'm biased, but I think Windwalker Monk's Conduit of the Celestials is absolutely crazy. Mage Frostfire seems crazy. Oracle Healer Priest seems crazy. Dev Evoker seems crazy. Enhance seems crazy. There's a lot of crazy ones. Warlock is really... Yeah, I don't understand Warlock, though. I only know English. I think we did it. I think we got through most of everything, right?
Oh, no, I'm stretching. Now my dogs think I'm getting up. God damn it. God fucking damn it. No, sorry, Reptar. Come here, buddy. I didn't mean that. Don't talk to him, buddy. Come here. DH 3rd spec? Wait, what the fuck is that about? What the fuck are you talking about? Max, one of the bosses in the raid is weirdly stated to be optional, and it's a council of 3 demon hunters, 1 havoc, 1 vengeance, and 1 being a void guy. Some data mining of spells and some quest lines point to that boss teasing a 3rd DH spec. Yeah, I mean, that sounds... All of those things sound entirely credible. If there was ever going to be another spec added, I would assume it's to demon hunters who only have 2. And that sounds like the perfect way to do that. So it'll be like, what? It'll be like, they're not announcing it yet, but it'll be playable in like the 0.5 patch or something, just like AUG was. Do you think it will be a support spec? No. I imagine it's not going to be... I mean, we can probably tell from the... Are the boss abilities on PTR? Oh shit, he knows? I don't know anything. I genuinely have no clue. I've never heard of this at all. You guys are telling me it's the first time? Let's look from the boss abilities. Yeah, I don't think... I really, really doubt they're going to do DH support.